The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on and line down the left field line for a base hit.
Fly ball, gap, right center field.
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, run and mustard grandma. It is grand salami time.
Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
Hello and welcome back to the Light the W podcast. As always, I am your host, Mahal. Today is Tuesday, May 26th, and welcome to episode 160 of the show. We are fully back and raring to go. The Mariners are playing decent ball once again, and we are here to talk about it. This will release Wednesday morning, 6 a.m., as we always do. Monday, Wednesday, Friday episodes at 6 a.m. on the dot each of those days. Make sure you continue to tune in if you want more content like this. Today, we're going to talk about the start of this A-Series. We're going to talk about the piggyback. We're going to talk about Mariners baseball, which, by the way, we are playing Mariners baseball. We're going to talk about the farm system. We're going to talk about the league as a whole. We're going to very briefly, talk about Seattle sports in general. So, without further ado, let's get into this episode. All right. This is Mariners baseball. That's Mariners baseball, baby. They really are playing the way that they should be playing right now. These first two games against, I'm going to call them Oakland during this episode, so I really don't care. These first two games against Oakland, this is what it's all about to play Mariners baseball. You win the first game by a score of 9-2. You just absolutely wallop them on the back of a good start from Luis Castillo, which unfortunately is cut short because of the piggyback situation. And then Bryce Miller follows that up with a fantastic outing of his own out of the bullpen. You put up 9 runs together as an offense. And if we want to just go look back at the box score of this game, there was a lot of things that really went well. J.P. Crawford had a hit, and he didn't even have that good of a game. Julio Rodriguez 1 for 4. Victor Robles came in as a pinch hitter late in the game. Naylor had a pair of hits, including an RBI. Randy Rosarena had 3 hits. Raley had 2 hits and a homer. Rosarena had a double and a homer. Cole Young had a hit. Ken Zone had a homer, pair of RBIs on that. Pareda had a hit. Emerson walked and scored a run, continuing his on-base streak, which I believe now is at 4 or 5 games. Let's see if my brain can work and operate here. Okay, so he had the 4-hit game. So starting with that 4-hit game, it's now a 3-game on-base streak. He's had a walk each of the past 2 days. Look, he's really picking up his form. He's starting to figure out that bat, starting to figure out what he needs to do in Major League pitching. He's not striking out a whole lot. Didn't have a strikeout last night. I do believe he had a strikeout tonight, but he also flew out deep tonight. He's putting the ball in play. He obviously had the 4-hit game, which is where the majority of his production so far has come at the plate, but he has done a pretty good job. Crawford had a home run last night. Just a lot of things went right. They only left 2 runners on in scoring position, 2 out RBIs from Raley, Canzone, Randy. They were 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position, only left 5 runners on base the entire game. They only had the 1 error on the J.P. Crawford throw, which this is probably something that me and Jeff will talk about on Friday morning's episode, but it's not been fun. Continuing on with this first game of the series, though, right? Luis Castillo, 4 innings, just 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Fantastic. Especially doing against that lineup and that ballpark more than I ever could have dreamt of. fantastic stuff from him, only through 68 pitches, which, I do understand him being frustrated there, getting pulled with 68 pitches after 4 innings. Like, I get that, right? I mean, Bryce Miller was allowed to nearly go 6 full innings. Part of that because he was, working with a no-hitter in that last start on the first round of the piggyback. But if you're Luis Castillo, you're saying to yourself, why am I not getting the same treatment? I'm throwing the ball great. Why do I not get, the bulk innings of this? Why do I not get the 5 innings, right? Like, I mean, if Luis Castillo threw 5 innings and put up good numbers, and then, it's Bryce Miller for those last four, like, is Luis Castillo as frustrated as he is in the bullpen or in the dugout? Like, I don't think so. And now we're at the point where, like, these guys are having conversations with members of the front office, with Pete Woodworth, with Dan Wilson today, because, I mean, neither Bryce Miller nor Luis Castillo really understand what is happening with this piggyback. I don't know if anyone does. It feels like the Mariners right now are just doing stuff without a plan. They're sort of just flying by the seat of their pants, and with a manager that has no idea what the hell he's doing, like, it's not very smart. Right? Like, why are you flying by the seat of your pants with an inexperienced manager who we don't know how much power he has, but he does have some power for sure. Like if you're Dan Wilson, right, you have all these different jobs of what you have to do, and they're giving you all these different roles, and you're just saying to yourself, how do I deal with this? I'm dealing with platoons. I'm dealing with this piggyback thing. I'm dealing with an injured bullpen that's now starting to look more healthy. Now all of a sudden, this bullpen has some really nice depth to it, and really is the strength of this team, right? If Munoz can figure it out, and that's something we'll get into when we talk about tonight's ball game. But they're doing a lot of things right. It's just about how do you figure out how to have this tough conversation so you're not pissing off two guys. How do you figure out, maybe this piggyback's not the right option. Maybe we need one of the guys to be the starter and have the bulk, and one of the guys to come out of the bullpen and not be the bulk guy. And the way it feels like it is that Bryce should be the starter, be the bulk guy, throw 5 innings, work into the sixth if he's having a fantastic start, and then here comes Luis Castillo. Right. That's how this should work. The guy that's starting should be the bulk guy. And if that means that, a guy has to throw a bullpen post game to make sure he gets to his pitch limit, to make sure he stays stretched out, so fucking be it. Right? But we're trying to win baseball games here. And that's first and foremost what this team needs to do. And if you're forsaking that for the pleasure and happiness of a couple guys in your clubhouse, which you can't even maintain as it is anyway, then what are we doing? It's like if I'm here and I'm just like, trying to people please everybody. It's like how I'm like, I got an hour here to work on 4 different classes' homeworks, and I'm like, I'm going to split these up evenly, right? Like, it's like, that's not possible. I'm going to spend, 15 minutes on each class? None of the classes are going to be happy because none of the teachers are going to get enough work from that class. Each class is going to be half-assed. So then all 4 professors, all 4 teachers are going to be upset because you're going to get a bad grade in all 4. And then you're upset because you're not succeeding, you're not winning, you're not doing well, and your grades are suffering. That's the Mariners right now. They're trying to, in an hour, work on study for 2 different tests, but they can't put enough time to cram into each test to be able to get a good grade on each. So both tests are going to suffer and both grades are going to suffer. That's what the Mariners are doing with this piggyback. And it needs to stop. And to be honest, I don't know if there is a better option. Like, is moving Luis Castillo fully to the bullpen a better option? I don't know. I'm not the person to answer that. In my opinion, I think so. Move him to a long reliever role and have one guy be the starter bulk guy and one guy be in the back there to fill out for whether it is Bryce, whether it is Hancock, or whether it is Logan Gilbert that needs some of those bulk innings. One of those 3 guys is going to need it every turn around. That needs to be the person's role. And as in the time being, you're running an arm short in the pen. Ultimately, this is going to have to be something where if all 6 of these guys are working, you get into the offseason this year and someone's getting traded. You got Cade Anderson, Ryan Sloan knocking on the door. Now, at some point, they're going to force your hand. What happens in a month when Cade Anderson continues to deal and it's like, dog, we can't keep him in Double-A any longer? And it doesn't really make sense for a pitcher to go to Triple-A, right? It doesn't really make sense. What is he working on there? It's an innings limit. Like, so does Anderson then become a bullpen guy? Well, but what does that do for his development? Because ultimately, right, I want Cade Anderson. You want Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson wants to be. The Mariners want Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson's going to be a starter. You can't just move him to the bullpen. So then what happens then? You got to keep him stretched out to an extent. Now, you limit his innings somehow. Is he a 2-3 inning guy? Like, what does that look like? And how does that give you an opportunity to win? Because again, first priority here is lighting the W. It's the title of this podcast. It's the name of this podcast. The first priority is to light the W up on the roof of T-Mobile Park 95 plus times every season. I mean, are the Mariners looking like they're going to do that this year? I really don't think so. But if they play the way they have these past 2 days as we sort of transition here, then they absolutely can. Looking at game 2, like Emerson Hancock continuing to deal. Dude's got a 2.78 ERA this season. He's been awesome. The Mariners got to a lefty with good stuff that's a good prospect, engaged jump. And the only run they gave up was on a solo home run in the 9th inning against Andres Munoz. They only gave up 2 hits in 2 walks through the first 8 innings of this ball game. And that's almost entirely on weak contact. They only had 5 strikeouts this entire game. Only gave up the 1 run. It was that solo home run, like I said. A's only had 4 hits. The Mariners have held the A's to 3 runs their first 18 innings of the series. In a ballpark that is not that big, where a lot of runs are scored, and where yesterday the wind was blowing out in a way that I have never seen. It was quite literally a wind tunnel to the outfield. Yet they only gave up 2 runs, and they've only given up 3 through the first 18 innings of this series. That's impressive stuff. That's what I expect from this pitching staff. If the Mariners' pitching staff and starting pitchers dominate anywhere close to this on a start-by-start basis, that's how this team finds success. By having an elite group, an elite unit. That's what I've been trying to push here for the past week or 2. It's that elite unit. That's how you find sustained success and consistency, because as then the offense and the bullpen sort of fluctuate throughout the season, you have something to put on your back and say, this unit, these players can carry us to wins even through that. That's how you go win 7 out of 10 games. That's our goal here at the Light the W podcast, to win 7 out of 10 games and win 3 series in a row. That's our goal. This is the start. You've won the first 2 games against Oakland. Let's go win the 3rd. Let's go take first place, and let's not freaking look back. Let's not look back. This team is better than they've been so far. They're getting healthy. Gabe Spire's back. Matt Brash is back. This bullpen's at full strength. Minus Carlos Vargas. This offense is getting healthier. Victor Robles, shout out you. 3-hit game tonight, including a double. Mitch Garver, shout out you. 2-hit game, including a double and an RBI. Mariner, shout out you. Only 8 strikeouts. Colt Emerson, shout out you. Only walk tonight. Mariners, shout out you. In terms of the runs you scored tonight, mean, did a single one score on a homer? I'm trying to look. You didn't score off of a homer tonight. You scored 4 runs and won a game without hitting a home run. You had 11 hits without a home run. That's Mariners baseball, baby. That's the 2026 version of the Seattle Mariners we wanted to see. More of that. More of this. How sustainable is this? That's another question, right? And that's something we can debate back and forth. Like, are we going to have 11 hits on a day in, day out basis, especially against lefties? Probably not. But this has been a damn good series, and for a team with high expectations, showing up in the series that matter, and it's a team that's ahead of you in the standings against a good baseball team, that matters. Look at the Braves series. Look at this series. The Padres are a whole different beast, apparently, but look at what they've done. The Mariners have shown they're a freaking good baseball team if they want to be. They just gotta want to be more often. Show that you can dominate more of these bad teams. That's the expectation, right? I mean, you look at the standings, you got a plus 16 run differential right now. Third in the American League. You're expected to already have 30 wins. You only got 27. We've already had this discussion where, like, if you had a couple of those random games not go against you, like, you're above 500 and you're in first place right now. And part of that's Dan, part of that's the players, part of that's just, baseball, right? I hate when Dan says that, that's just baseball. It happens, right? Nobody likes that, to hear that night in, night out. After every single loss. We've heard it 29 times this season. But it's not wrong. Like, ultimately, some of the time, like, it is just baseball. That happens. There's 162 games for a reason. Let's go win 93, 94, 95 of them. How about? And let's get into October and let's win however many it takes to go win the whole damn thing. Right? That's the dream. That's the goal. You're 27 and 29 right now. Half a game out of first place. You've won 48% of your games so far this year. There's only 3 teams above 500 right now in the American League. Cleveland Guardians, New York Yankees, and the Tampa Bay Rays. You're in a good spot. You're in a totally fine spot. It's May 26th. We're past Memorial Day. Let's turn on the jets. Let's put our foot on the gas pedal. And let's accelerate up to 100 miles an hour. And then turn on cruise control at 100 miles an hour. And just keep it there. Let's just cruise down I-5. All the way. Let's go win some damn baseball games. Emerson Hancock was fantastic tonight again, as he continues to be. Mariners finish up the series with the Athletics at noon on Wednesday, and then host the Diamondbacks and the Mets on a homestand, 6-game homestand, starting on Friday through Wednesday. Off days both the next 2 Thursdays before a longer road trip to Detroit, Baltimore, and the nation's capital. This is a good opportunity. This is a favorable stretch for you. Let's go win 7 out of 10 games. Let's go win 2, 3, 4 series in a row. But first and foremost, let's get a little greedy and let's sweep the A's. And let's get to a 4-2 road trip. If you told me on Thursday, May 21st, last week, the Mariners would go 4-2 against the Royals and the A's over that road trip, I would have said perfect. Sounds great. I would love that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Logan Gilbert, Jeffrey Springs. How about a good start from Logan? How about some depth from Logan? Got your bullpen pretty much all available. Off day Thursday. Let's do it. Let's do it. Only guy that might be unavailable is Gabe Spire. Matt Brash is going to throw. Munoz is available. Ferrer's available. Bizzardo's available. Criswell's available. Let's go get 5-6 quality innings from you, Logan, and let's hand it over to the bullpen with the lead. How about it? How about it? Mariners can sweep this series. They maybe should sweep this series. That's enough Mariners talk, though, for the time being. And make sure you turn in Friday. It's episode 161. Me and Jeff will be back in action, fully ready to rock and roll as we continue on into the summer here now. But before that,
this is Around the Horn. 4 updates on Major League Baseball over the past week.
all right, first and foremost, shout out the Chicago Cubs. Let's give them a round of applause. 10 straight losses. That is an impressive feat. 0-10 in your last 10 games. Also, last place in the NL Central. I'll be at Wrigley Field in a few weeks. It'd be nice if they would play a little better so I can hear some Go Cubs Go, because that's an elite thing. If the Mariners get a win song, what would it be? Other than, fire. Like a win song we can sing. We need that. Drop a comment down below with your choice for a song to sing after every Mariners win. So I want to be able to sing something. Be like, we'll figure it out. Is it like a sea shanty? We're gonna have to sing the Wellerman all together. There once was a ship that sailed the sea. The name of the ship was a Benny O.B. After every win, I kind of feel like that's play. Also, on that note, bring back the the USS Mariner? Bring it back. I want that. I don't care if you hated it when it was there. I don't care if you weren't alive when it was there, like myself. I don't care. Give me the ship. Give me the cannon. Let's rock. Let's rock. You can make it the colors, the teal and the navy. You can do that all you want. But do it. Do it. Oh, and bring back a bullpen card. That's my last note. All right, second base. Let's stick in the NL, shall we? Shall we stick in the NL? Colorado Rockies. They're now 20-36, negative 74 run differential. Worst in baseball. They started out so positively, but ripped the Rockies. Win percentage now at .357. It's unfortunate. It's all right. It's unfortunate. Third base. New York Yankees are 33-22. They've been pretty damn good. Plus 82 run differential. However, they are 1-7 against teams above 500. Jeff and I were texting about this earlier. And ultimately beat the teams you're supposed to beat, right? Like you should do that. And Cam Schlittler's been a dog. Max Fried's hurt. Garrett Cole had a great start in his first start back. Carlos Rodon is still out. They have a lot of room to improve, but you got to be able to beat the good teams, right? I mean, even the Mariners, they're 11-14. That's better than 1-7. Also, those 8 games against teams below 500 rank last, or against teams above 500, rank last in baseball. Easily the least in baseball. The only team in single digits, in fact, with that few games against teams above 500. The Yankees are a good baseball team. That's not my point here. My point is to say that there will be a point this season where the New York Yankees hit a point in their schedule where they struggle. And the New York Yankees have not been a team in the most recent years that can work through those struggles as a clubhouse, as an organization, as a fan base. They're not an organization that copes with struggle especially well. They have peaked early in the season. That does not bode well for them late in this year. The door is wide open for this Mariners team. They just got to step through the door. It's opened. Take first place, and let's run. Let's run the fucking table. Let's run the fucking table. All right. Last note. Detroit Tigers, 21-34, -29 run differential. They are tied with the Los Angeles Angels of the Anaheim for the worst record in the American League. My apologies to those two franchises, fan bases. But this is what you get for signing Framber Valdez and for having AJ Hinch be your manager. It's unfortunate. Karma's a bitch, but you should have known better. It's unfortunate. Shout out the Angels, though. Really, really enjoying the cellar down there. Maybe they will draft someone competent this time. Not that Tyler Bremner's not, but who knows what they're doing. We'll see what they do with the draft. Moving on.
Welcome to Down on the Farm, your weekly segment talking about the Mariners farm system over the past week.
I really love that rooster, I must say. It's a really great part of my day. I thoroughly enjoy it each and every time. Okay. We're here to talk about the farm system. We got 3 things to talk about as always. First and foremost, shout out Nick Becker. This guy's really fast. If you haven't noticed, he has a lot of stolen bases. But shout out him tonight. 2 for 3 night with a homer, a double, 2 runs, an RBI. Also was hit by a pitch. The Mariners have more talent coming through the system. Nick Becker's a lot of fun. Leandro Romero's a name to watch down at the Complex League, as well as the Beast, of course. Like, there's so many names in this system. Becker's up to a 905 OPS now. Like, I need to buy me a Bowman first of Nick Becker. This kid's going to be a lot of fun. And this deadline's going to be really interesting. I talked about it on Monday's episode. But with how deep this Mariners farm system is, there's going to be a trade, I think, at this deadline that is going to hurt. It's only a matter of time. And it's going to be exciting, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be someone that you really are going to be like, I kind of wish we didn't trade him. But this organization knows what they're doing with this. This is what they know. This is how they know. This is what they do. They draft, they develop, they trade. That's what this Mariners organization is. They're going to thrive. They're continuing to just develop studs on studs on studs. Who else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Felny and Celestin. So his hitting streak eventually ended. But on his season, a 152 WRC plus, hitting 336, 446, 957 OPS. I've talked about Felny and Celestin a lot in this segment throughout this year. But he's also running the second lowest strikeout percentage in the Mariners farm system at just 18%. Like, this guy has had a really special start to the season, and I if you don't know the name, you need to pay attention to what he's doing. And if you are in the Puget Sound region, get up to Everett before this guy moves to Arkansas. You need to watch this kid. He's special. He's fantastic. He looks like he might be something incredible, and he's finally getting consistent play time really for the first time in his professional career. And he's showing all the tools that you expected and knew this guy had when he was coming out of the DR. Special talent. Watch him. He might get traded, but I highly doubt it with the season he's putting on. All right, third and foremost, let's talk about Mason Peters. We're going to look at the Mariners pitching leader so far this season. Strikeouts, FIP, ERA, Ks per nine. Let's start with those. Strikeouts. Mason Peters is second with 45, behind just Cade Anderson. FIP, 3.18 FIP, second in the system, behind only Cade Anderson. ERA, 1.74, just 11 points behind Cade Anderson and in second place. Ks per nine, over 13 in second place behind Cade Anderson and more than Ryan Sloan. Opponents hitting under 200 against him, whip below 1. A 16.5% swinging strike rate. Mason Peters has been awesome. Special. What a pick in the 4th round last year. Another guy that if you have the MLB TV package, tune in on a Friday night to the Inland Empire 66ers and watch this guy throw. The breaking balls, the fastball, the stuff, all of it is really fun, really exciting. A lot of promise. Mariners developed these guys really well. College pitcher in the 4th round. Sounds familiar. There's 2 guys in a rotation right now that are not all that similar to a guy like that. Continue to pay attention to this farm system and even the names beyond just the Cade Andersons, the Ryan Sloans, the Colt Emersons, the Laz Montezes, the Michael Arroyos. Pay attention to some of those under the radar names that are going to become big if they're not already, like a Mason Peters.
It is time for Seattle Sports Wraparound with Mahal.
All right. So, Sounders are now into their World Cup international break. The World Cup starts soon. I gotta say, the closer we get to this World Cup, the more excited I get. It's really thoroughly exciting. The Sounders lost their final game before this break. The United States have their first World Cup tune-up against Senegal on May 31st. That is this Sunday at noon. 12:30. Really exciting stuff. If you're not a soccer fan, watch the World Cup. It'll make you a soccer fan. If you think the sport's stupid, watch the World Cup. It'll make you a soccer fan. There's a reason it's the most popular sport in the entire world. Continuing on that, this isn't really Seattle rated, but I'm a Manchester United supporter. 3rd place for the boys this year. Not what I was expecting at the start of the year. In a positive way. Thank you. I gotta make my way back to the Theater of Dreams someday. There's not a whole lot going on in Seattle sports world. OTA started today for the Seahawks. Kraken are continuing to be silent. Stanley Cup playoffs are about to start soon. The Golden Knights advanced. Screw them, but also screw Colorado. The Western Conference Final was just awful in every single way. That's going to do it, though, for this episode of the Light the W podcast. Thank you for tuning in to episode 160. I'll be back Friday morning recording with Jeff. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. So make sure you tune into that episode. If you haven't already, go listen to episode 159. I answered a couple of questions from you guys, as well as talked about some other stuff on that episode. Till Friday, go M's. Peace.